He's gonna get really interesting with this one. Let me ask you guys a question. Just one question. I mean, are you proud of being white? Candace Owens is gonna take us on a journey.
Happy Wednesday, everybody. Question of the day. Are you proud to be white? If you are white, that's a question to you. Are you proud to be white? And I'll ask the same question if you're black and you're watching this. Are you proud to be black? Is it okay to say that you are proud to be anything except for white? Plus, later on in the show, wow, really weird story. A mayor and pastor in Alabama was exposed for living a double life as a transgender curvy girl named Brittany Blair Summerin. And now that individual has committed suicide and is being hailed as some sort of a martyr. Quite a bizarre story. We need to talk about it. All that and more today, coming up on Candace Owens. So racism toward white people is all but permitted in today's society. I think we should all be acknowledging that. I think that's why, as you know, a couple of days ago, I was very happy to welcome Ami Kozak on the show, and he was talking about the outrage that he felt at the anti-Semitism that he's seeing on campuses. And I offered back to him, what about the outward racism that has been executed against white people for years? I mean, things have flipped. Now you can outwardly say that you hate white people, and you won't even be censored. You won't have your videos pulled down. Nobody will call you a racist. It's acceptable, definitively in the post-George Floyd BLM era. And so this video has been making the rounds. It's really interesting to dissect, to talk about. It was done by a group called Jubilee, in which they asked a group of white people whether or not they were proud to be white on a scale. They were comfortable with saying that they were proud to be white. Let's take a look at how they responded.
Just be in the middle.
Yeah. Can there be a middle?
All right.
Yeah, pick a side. Pick a side.
Like,
I think
so
like
much.
guiltily, like I'm like happy that I'm not oppressed, but I'm not proud of like things people have done in the past.
When I think of being proud of something, I think of something I worked for, or that I had to do nothing to be white.
Okay, so just to show you how those people responded, the
This is a problem, guys.
Ho for holy.
No, I mean,
Okay,
and
let me
because this builds on the foundation of what we've laid last time we had a live stream on Wednesday. We addressed, what's going on with the trans shooter. If this is the kind of mindset that fuels this kind of destructive mentality that led to that shooting, and that's why I wanted to bring this video forward. Go ahead. You wanted to say something.
This is all about critical race theory. This is what it boils down to.
Mm-hmm.
And this shows you how destructive it is and how perverse it is on the human psyche.
Mm-hmm.
Personally, I've never thought about being white. I just am. I'm not proud of it. I'm not ashamed of it either.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I never really thought of myself as being white. I've never thought of myself as being black or Caucasian or anything else. I just am.
Yeah. Good point.
And like DJ says, I'm most proud of being a child of God.
Amen.
If I'm having to be proud of anything,
Yeah.
I'm proud to be a Christian.
Exactly. That's a privilege to be a Christian. Talking about black or white privilege, this is a privilege. Christian privilege is the real thing. Yeah, thank you for that. I don't think of pride in a positive way at all, because every time I look at pride in the Bible, it's always in a negative. But
and like the old saying goes, pride cometh before the fall.
Yes. So, but for the sake of language and English language, so I don't even think about my skin color as something to be proud of, because my skin color is not my character. It's not my identity.
Yeah.
It's the person that I am. For me, I never thought of that. It's what I've accomplished, is the man that I am. I think of me being a father, me being a husband, me being a friend, the type of things I've accomplished in the world, how I'm touching other people's lives. These are the things that I'm proud about.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't have anything to glory in. So even when I look at my life, I'm like, I look at my life, I'm like, yo, I'm so far away from the way that I think God wants me to live. I guess it's a good thing. I feel inadequate. It's a good thing, but I don't go around glorying in anything because I don't feel the need to do that. So my skin color is the very least thing that I think about when I think of being proud of anything. So I think I'm very privileged as a man to be a Christian, to be in a position to have the friends that I have people like yourself in my life, have a beautiful, lovely wife, and have some amazing children. Have a great church who accept me for who I am without looking at my skin color. So
and
these are
and
things that I
and
think
I
about,
and
and
I
I'm
feel the
happy.
same.
Yeah,
And
that's what
and
I
to
think about.
get to Ortis here, no, there's nothing wrong with
Yeah,
loving the country that you're from.
yeah, absolutely not. And I think that's what's lacking in our country today. If you notice, the people that were asking these questions were younger. So I noticed the younger population, the Gen Zs, um, they
Yeah.
tend to have an issue with these concepts. But if you go back to Gen X or millennials, like some my age,
Well, even some millennials have an issue with it.
some millennials. But for me, I'm a millennial myself. But I don't. I have an old soul, so I don't have this issue.
But
So
that's the thing. It's the older millennials that don't have
mm,
an issue with it. It's the
mhm.
younger millennials.
That's right.
The millennials that are like under 35-ish, I'd
Yeah,
say.
yeah.
Like
Zachariah is on point.
people
Please forget God didn't describe us by skin color. It was
exactly.
done by ethnicity based on where your ancestor are from.
Exactly.
Everyone alive today comes from the line of Noah.
Or Abraham,
Yeah, yeah,
you know. So I mean it's just it baffles my mind how much people have an issue with this, and
Mhm.
it's like, why is this such an issue for you to understand that back in my day we didn't care what skin color you were,
No, I
you
wasn't even.
know. i
That was.
came I grew up in a town that was majority white for the most of my
Mhm,
life, and then we had a black kid move into school.
mhm.
You know what happened? Nothing.
Nothing. Nobody cares.
Nobody cared. we
Creole
all
Queen, thank you for that
we
message.
all accepted him into the school with
Mhm.
no problem whatsoever. He joined the basketball team. We all accepted him for who he was. We didn't look at him like anybody outside of the rest of us.
Simple as that. Michael said it only if you're a Democrat.
Exactly.
Yeah, they seem to be the ones worrying about stuff like that. The average person is like, man, I'm trying to pay my bills, love my wife, and care for my children. I'm working on my retirement. I got like hospital stuff that I need to worry about. I got doctor's appointment that I need to. Listen, man, I'm praying for my sons. Want to make sure that they get saved. Like, you think I'm worried about my skin color, bro?
Yeah.
That's the least of my concern.
That's the least. An
Like,
immutable characteristic does not define me.
not. I love that. An immutable characteristic does not define me.
Majority of them strongly disagreed with the statement that they were proud to be white. Two of them stayed in the center and said, I don't really know what to say. And they reasoned, you saw the young white girl, she said, well, first and foremost, I'm happy that I'm not oppressed, which is a really stunning statement. Essentially what she's implying there is that to be white means to be privileged, and that to be black means to be oppressed. I am black. I am not oppressed in any regard whatsoever. In fact, I consider myself to be remarkably privileged. I have a family. I have a husband that loves me. I have children that are healthy. I'm about to give birth to my third child, but she can't even process that. She's like, well, I'm white, so I'm happy that I'm at least safe and allowed to be privileged. The gentleman behind her says, when I think of just generally speaking the word proud, well, I'm going to be proud of something that I've actually accomplished. And I just am born white. I didn't really accomplish anything by being born white. And actually, I want to give some credence to that. I actually agree with that statement. If somebody had asked me, are you proud to be black? I was just born black. I didn't really accomplish anything. I think a better question would be, are you ashamed to be black? And the answer is absolutely not. I actually quite enjoy being black, especially in today's society. As I said, since there's so much outward racism toward white people, I actually feel like I have more of the ability to say what that young white girl said. I should be like, yeah, it's kind of better to be here, a little bit more privileged, because you can say more. You can be more honest in today's society and have to face somewhat less smears than you would if you were a white person.
That's a true statement. That's a true statement. I mean, what she just said here, irrespective of the way you might feel about it, black people are now the ones who have the privilege to do and say whatever they want. And she's going to show a video where she's going to read some things that goes to show exactly that, right? For example, and I know that's an extreme example. If a white person commits a crime toward a black man, it is magnified.
Right.
But at the same time, if the black guy commits mass shooting and so on, as soon as the media realizes black, they tone it down.
Mm-hmm.
That is a real thing. That's not something that's fake.
Yeah.
I find the news, even the way the news will write things, for example,
Or if it doesn't even, not even if they're just black, just as long as it doesn't fit their very specific narrative that they're trying to push.
Yeah.
I mean, look at what happened in Tennessee. 9 months it took an investigative journalism. It took for that manifesto to come out, whereas every other manifesto gets released within less than a week.
Yeah. That is very interesting. Great point. Yeah, like, for example, the mass shooters, criminals that are committing crimes, if the perpetrator is black, oftentimes the news is written like this: men shot 2 people, died in a parking lot. But if the perpetrator is white, it goes like this: white guy killed 2 black men in a parking lot.
Mm-hmm.
What's the difference here? They
Or
tell you
white,
about the color of the skin of the perpetrator,
or
and they
white
also tell you about
racist.
the call. Yeah, they also tell you about
No. It's white racist slaughters 2 innocent black men.
Yes. Yeah, I heard that, and I've had a video where I explained this, and I went through different articles and actually dissect them and show you how they speak about it. The media portray this stuff.
And then the funny thing is, you start doing some digging, and you find out that the 2 black guys were trying to mug the white guy, and they have a laundry list, a criminal record as long as the Mississippi.
No, we can't talk about that.
Like
that's like George Floyd kind of, you can't talk about his rap sheet,
Yeah,
it's the fact that this happened
because
to him. He's a saint,
that makes it racist.
Yeah, it's racist to address the fact that there is a problem here. We have a rap sheet of evidence showing that this individual has been.
And meanwhile, the white dude, it was because he made one tweet like 20 years ago that was like some silly little meme about something.
Mm-hmm.
And they had to dig back in his archive 20 years to find the tweet.
Yeah.
And it's like, wait
I
a
love
minute,
that.
weren't you the one saying not to use your past against you?
Not if you're white.
But then that's all you do is use past egregiousness against white people.
That makes no sense. It's ridiculous. All right, listen to what she's about to do next. Watch this.
Can we say double standard?
Double standard.
Remarkably, they conducted this same experiment amongst a group of black individuals, and their reaction to the question was quite different. Take a listen.
I am proud to be black.
Well, all right, y'all. That's what I'm talking about. Hand clap for y'all. Yeah.
I'm glad that we all strongly agree. Yeah.
They all strongly agreed with that statement, and they applauded. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that, even if I don't.
Oh yeah, there is something wrong with that. It's the fact that you think being black is
a monolith.
That's not an identity call. That's not something to hail like a trophy of victory. For me, it's like you don't have your priorities correct, because that's not. But it's fine. You can be proud of it, but that's not something you want to carry on, because what that does, it also puts you in a very bad place mentally. And you fail to address the real issues that are in your life. Like, even though you might have a broken home, you're not worrying about that, because, hey, I'm proud of being black. Even if you have a broken marriage, hey, I'm proud of being black. Even though your children are not even in church, majority of them are in a lost condition. They're selling dope. It's all good. I'm proud of being black. And I think what that does, it causes you to ignore real issues in your life. And it's not a good look. And I think that's why black people are failing, because a lot of us believe that being black is what it means to be human. It becomes a character trait. It becomes an identity. And for me, it's like I don't think that's a good thing. That's not. That's not.
Yeah.
You know,
I actually is like, I was watching the thing the other day. It's like, well, that's just what black people do. I'm like,
that's just crazy.
what? You're kidding me, right?
Be careful how you say that. Some of us do stuff like this. You have to agree. Some of it, but you have to be careful how you don't, stereotype everybody like that.
I know.
Agreed.
Well, it was coming from black dudes, so I'm like,
well, they can get away with it. If you black, if you're white, that's a different story. Right?
yeah. I mean, and I'm like,
oh my Lord, it's crazy.
what?
Leroy, I confirm. Thank you for confirming, my friend. All right, let's go.
I don't necessarily agree if there's something to be proud of just being born, but hey, good. Why such a disparity? Why such shame when it's a white person and such pride when it's a black person in today's society? What does that tell us? Well, I think it speaks to the fact that black people are being told that just for the sake of being black, they should garner a pride. They should be proud to be black. And yet that's remarkable when you consider the circumstances of the black community, how we are living, how we are being influenced culturally, who we have put at the head of our culture. Not exactly things to be proud of. And when you tell that truth, you get rejected from the community because we have learned to love the things in our community that is rotting our community. We've learned to love criminality, to celebrate criminality. When people put it into a song, we say, oh, this person's so amazing when they're talking about drugs, when they're talking about prostitution, when they're talking about their body parts. We are the only community that is not being told to fix the issues within our community so that we can advance in society. And that makes me really sad.
That's kind of what I was trying to say right there.
Right.
That's the problem. Because it causes you to ignore real issues in your life. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah. And to answer this question, we're not saying that it does matter. Nobody's saying that it does. Nobody cares if there's an interracial relationship.
That's not even the discussion at all.
Yeah, that's not what we're talking about.
Mm-mm.
What we're talking about is, do you put your skin color and race or ethnicity, above another?
Mm-hmm. That's the problem.
That's where the issue comes in.
Put it simply, that's just racism.
Point blank simple.
Yeah.
Whether you're black or white, it doesn't matter.
And then there's this. This is the video that I want to show you, and it is stunning to consider. This is welcomed on the internet. Like I said, I have to be careful every day of what I say on this show for fear of strikes and fears of videos being taken down. And so my jaw hits the floor when I see what is allowed, people that don't have to worry about what they say on the internet. And this young woman who is on TikTok has put together an alphabetized list of insults that you can aim at white people. Take a listen.
Bruh, y'all were asking for my white people insult collection. I got y'all. We don't gatekeep around here.
Here is the list that she put together that I'm about to show you. Her white people insults list is alphabetized. A, she has ash ape, Arctic menace. Under B, she has baking soda slugs, beach flamingos, birch trees, bird caca or bird, Blanco bullies, blanket banshee, bleached balloons, bleached demons, blizzard bliss, borax bats, bleached snow monkey. Under C, she has capital climbers, cauliflower conqueror, and cauliflower crunches.
Yeah, imagine a white person says anything of this sort about black people.
Wow.
Could you
That
imagine,
is so racist.
Yeah, could you imagine what would happen, Vader? It will shut you down. You'll be canceled, removed.
Oh no, you wouldn't just be canceled. You would have people camping in your yard waiting to delete you.
Oh yeah, they'd be cooking you upside down. Call white supremacist, MAGA Republican. Oh my goodness. But that's okay for her to do that, though.
Mm-hmm.
What did you say earlier? Double standard?
Rules for thee and not for me.
The list goes on. Coconut shavings. We've got cornstarch characters, cotton ball flies, cotton swabs, colonizer, cave dweller, Casper crickets, and it goes on and on and on. So what is remarkable to consider is that what we are looking at, it looks like in her notes on her phone, she actually sat down and created a list, A through Z, of racist things that you can call white people behind their backs or in their faces, right? These are white people insults. You can say this in their face because it's 2023. And as I said, no.
I don't know what astounds me more, the fact that she has all of these or the fact that she took the time to list them alphabetically.
That's amazing. She did she did her homework.
Like,
she went in there and wow.
How much time do you spend thinking about this?
Yeah, how much hatred do you have to have in your heart to put a list together of this sort?
Like,
that's massive. That's just one person.
wow.
That's like a whole dictionary. It's just
Who hurt you?
like, what have they done to you? And I would like to ask her, when was the last time she met a white supremacist or any white person who treated her with any level of racism at all? I would like to know. And oftentimes they have none whatsoever. It's just the media propaganda machine has just hoodwinked their thinking, you know, and they think this is ridiculous, guys. I don't ever want any of you to ever think you are insignificant because of your skin color. Don't ever think that way.
They've been so brainwashed.
It's crazy. And this is the kind of stuff that fuels, you know, covenant shooting type of, you know, pew pew people. You know, these are these are the kind of mindset that does that.
Or, you know, the summer of love.
Mercy. Yeah. They call it peaceful protest while the fire is burning behind them.
Mostly peaceful protest.
Yeah, of course.
Nobody cares about white people anymore. Nobody cares what white people are having to endure on the internet. We are being told that every other race is a victim, and we all need to use our platforms to talk about their victimhood, except for what is so obviously in front of us. We live in a remarkably
Michael, it's not just how you were raised. Your parents can raise you not to be a racist. It's when you get into the school system, they teach this to the children. This is how they're taught. And it's pushed on them through CRT and critical race theory.
It's true.
This is why it's important that we start taking back the schools.
True. Well, we have to start calling out this situation. We have to point out these issues and talk about them. I think white people, the only criticism I have is many white people are just being
too afraid. Yeah, they're too afraid to speak up.
They don't want to be called racist. And I think in the process of doing that, they end up giving life to the evildoers. And the real racists of our society, they become supernatural because nobody's addressing and calling them out. And I do get it, though, that you don't want to go out there and start pointing out some of these people because these people got some real emotional, irrational behaviors. But I think if you can get online, use the online pipeline to point out your message and say, I'm not a racist because of my skin color. Point it out, call it out, and share videos like this to expose the fact that these people are racist.
I got one for you. Funny anecdotal story.
Go ahead.
I was in a place one time, and I was having a debate with the shop owner.
Mm-hmm.
And it came down to the point where he was losing the argument, and this is how I know he was losing the argument.
Cenk Uygur.
He pulled a Cenk Uygur. He point blank looked at me dead in the eye and pointed at me and said, "You're racist because you don't speak fluent Spanish."
You won. That was
everybody else in the store just kind of stepped back and looked at him like, "What? Did you really just say that?"
What about the rest of us?
We're all looking at him like,
that's a good one.
And I'm like,
yeah, that's when you know the argument is over. You won.
Okay.
All right. What does that mean? I've never heard such a thing before.
I actually do speak fluent Spanish. As a matter of fact, I tutored a Puerto Rican girl in college on how to speak English and got paid for it. So yeah, I do speak fluent Spanish. Just because he's never heard me do it doesn't mean I don't. So You know what? Sorry, bud, but you're wrong on that account too.
Yeah. Yeah, that disqualifies me as a racist. I speak some Spanish myself, so there you go.
I'm like, oh my goodness. That was it just floored me. I just busted out laughing in his face, and that just made him even madder.
Kristen Dunn said logical thinking wrong.
I think he meant not required.
Oh, that's a good one. Oh man. All right, let's finish her off.
Anti-white racist society. This shouldn't be okay. This young woman should effectively have her entire life ruined, I'm judging by today's social standards, for putting together this list. And by the way, I would agree with that. I would agree that any person that sits down and puts together a list of things that you can call Black people, imagine that. Just imagine that. Flip the world. Pretend that was a white girl on the internet and she said, here, I've alphabetized the list A from Z of what you can call Black people. And she started talking about animals, and she started talking about products in her home that were Black. She started talking about tar. She started talking about monkeys. How would the world react to that? And why isn't the world reacting to a young Black woman that is doing the exact same thing? It's not reverse racism that we're seeing. It's just racism, and it's always despicable. And that's all I'm going to say about that.
Yeah, there's no such thing as reverse racism. Racism is racism, no matter who it's coming from.
Exactly. They like to say, well, if you don't have white privilege and power, you can't be racist. Like, what? No. You are.
That has nothing. Privilege, power, that has nothing to do with it, because if
Secular
the white
reason.
privilege is a thing, I'm still waiting for mine.
Yeah. But here's the other side of the story. Have you heard this? California students suspended for wearing black face paint at football game.
They do realize, kid, that you put black makeup under your eyes to keep light from glaring into the eyes, right?
Yeah. But his story is they are calling him a racist, saying that he is behaving like, Al Jolson and making fun of Black people in a sense. That's why they're comparing this little 8-year-old boy who went to support his football team. They're comparing him to that. And he is being suspended from school.
Wow.
So a middle school, California, suspended a student last month for wearing blackface paint at a football game. Something that constitutes a hate incident. Lord have mercy. This world is upside down. All right, let's keep going. Let me make that a little bit bigger for you because I'm just losing my mind over here. Okay, there we go. According to a suspension notice issued by the school principal. So did the school principal even consider or even take a look at the kid? Anyway. Maryland.
He didn't even do his whole face.
Not even. Well, I'm gonna show something because here's the suspension thing here. As a result of that, suspension noticed. Yeah, it's a real thing. October 13th, student wore blackface when he attended a game between.
He wore blackface paint.
Yeah, blackface paint. Yeah, let me get that correct. When he attended a game between La Jolla High School and Morse High School, Maryland Middle School is located in La Jolla. In the 8th grader was attending the football game in his free time. Not as part of a school function, he wore blackface paint in part for a TikTok video. He had a fun and great night without any trouble. So he wasn't making fun of Black people. He wasn't making crazy jokes. Just by him doing this, he's being deemed as a racist. But here's my thing. So yeah, we can talk about blackface paint back then, the minstrel show and all that. We're not gonna go into this. Everybody is agreed that was just wrong. You remember when Sarah Silverman got herself in trouble for doing this?
What about Justin Trudeau?
Yes, that's another thing. Yeah, he did do the same thing. But what about these guys?
Yeah.
Wait, if that little boy can get in trouble for doing this. How come none of these guys are in trouble? Because
Exactly.
similarly, they did the same thing.
Essentially,
That's a common thing.
it's
So I wanted to share this story
it's
to show
like
the double
totally
standard.
common.
Yeah, I wanted to share this story to show the double standard. The good thing is, I guess, he's got some.
And one of the guys isn't even playing lacrosse. Like the upper left picture, he's or football. The upper left guy is playing lacrosse.
Okay. Oh yeah, true. You're right. He's right here. He's playing lacrosse. Yeah, he's not even a football player. Yeah, good point. Good point. So I know this foundation here is speaking for him. Fire. Um, Part of what they do, they address free speech, anything racism toward white people and all that. These people actually, yeah, they're out there. It's good to know that there are organizations out there, guys, who will speak for people like yourself if you feel like you're being discriminated against. So check out this foundation. Fire is Foundation for Individual Rights and Expansion. They're pretty massive. I think they help you with lawyers and all of that as well. They will fight for you. So they're fighting for this kid right now, addressing the school, calling out the principal and his hypocrisy, hoping to do something about it. And I think white people, you guys need to start suing people for this stuff. Stop taking it, make them pay whenever they discriminate against you, so that we can bring about a change. I think that's just what it is. To put it simple. Stop tolerating this and just stick your heads in the sand. Enough of that nonsense.